Well, my mother always says the older we get, the more stubborn we get. And I think that has to do with us being less patient. We're set in our ways and we know what we like and we don't like. And sometimes we just say, I don't have time to put up with stuff we may not like.
In your 30s and 40s, when you have conflict, it tends to be for more legitimate reasons, I will say. And it's often because we do have more stress and we have more baggage. And sometimes it's we have aging parents, or we're going through a divorce, or we have kids that are just driving us insane and our capacity is just less. How do you weather that? How do you know which relationships you just need to let go of? It's not always smooth sailing.
So I get hundreds of emails from people trying to get advice, and I do a lot of advice stuff on video and stuff like that. And most of the stuff that comes in is unmet expectations. It's usually we're mad at our friend because she didn't do something we wanted her to do, that we needed her to do, but we never actually asked her to do. We just wanted her to just come offer to help pack boxes when we moved, and she didn't. And she was too busy with her own life, and she was selfish, and she was a narcissist, and she's toxic. And like we go down this road where we create this, like we jump to conclusions that leave us feeling like we don't matter. And that's what creates so much of our loneliness. So there's often even not a big fight. Like what I have found is in our romantic relationships, we're much more willing. Nobody loves conflict, but we're much more willing to say, you know what, when you do that, it leaves me feeling this way. Or I don't like it when you come home late. Or like this, when you da-da-da, like I need more of this. And we're willing to kind of have these negotiations and these fights. And we end up feeling safer and closer to our romantic person for having weathered some of those storms. In our friendships, I have found that as soon as we swallow it, we say, well, I'm just gonna, and then we get to a place where we're just like, you know what, I don't need that in my life. And then we just back away, but we very rarely ever actually confront the situation and talk about it and try to fix it and repair it. Say, what could I do to increase the positivity so this feels more fun? What can I do to increase the consistency so that we actually can depend on each other and we feel more in touch with each other, feel more present? What can I do to increase the vulnerability where I make sure that I'm feeling seen and sharing what I want to share in my life, or hear from her what's going on with her or him? And I really am a big fan, Kaamna, of at least my rule of thumb is the more you've invested in the relationship at some point, the more you should be willing to have the tough conversation. So we don't have to do it with everyone, but if it's somebody that you've called a close friend, that you've built a lot of history with, that you've made a lot of investment with, in my opinion, and I know this is very counterculture because we never see this model, but in my opinion, we need to learn how to actually go through some of that conflict, because I think we'll feel like we have greater frientimacy on the other side. I mean, we see that in our families and our romantic relationships. We say, I trust him because we've been through stuff together, you know, and when we survive those fights, we feel like we can rely on each other, and we don't give that gift to our friendships very well.
No, and the sad thing is that it takes two to tango. So both people have to be willing to look at it and have those hard conversations.
Those are the ones that are worth us at least trying to repair, because we lose nothing by trying other than it feels awkward and hard. But those are just us building up stronger spiritual and emotional muscles to practice those skills. So at the end of the day, we're still stronger for having tried. And if we lose the relationship, at least we tried and we have better skills for the next relationship.